What's up? What's up? I'm Alex, and it's Superhero Hub. So basically, as a superhero channel, I am trying to keep you up on all the news and stuff that's going on in the superhero realm with anything that's going on with news wise. And I'm not gonna today's video is not gonna be like on the Spider-Man thing because everyone's already covered that. And there's so many different stories, but a new trailer came out today. And if you check my Instagram, also Superhero Hub, I put on there actually that the trailer for this was coming out today with the Joker. Um, a new trailer dropped today, and I'm just going to talk about it here a little bit about like what happened in the trailer and how I feel about it. But yeah, I did know that the trailer was coming today because there was a small clips released the other day, and if you put the clips together, you actually could there's a part where like a thing would flash on the screen for like half a second, and if you put them all together, you would get the trailer date, which is so I knew that was gonna happen, that it was gonna happen today, and I watched the trailer, and so let's cut to that. But okay, so the first thing I want to say about this trailer is that, or in all the trailers for the Joker, is that this movie looks like it's either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. And I know that sounds like something that, it's just kind of, well, everything's either good or bad. But I don't know. It's just, this movie does not seem like your typical superhero movie. And that could either go very well or really wrong. And I don't really know how I feel about it quite yet. Like, I'm not 100% there with it, and I'm not, it feels like a psychological movie about a person's slow descent into insanity. And I'm not sure how I feel about that with the Joker. The Joker character is obviously a great character. He's one of the most beloved villains in comic books just of all time, pretty much. And this kind of, first of all, it changes his origin, if you would call it, completely. But it might do that for the better, and I have not really decided yet. Basically, the original quote-unquote origin for him was the whole one bad day thing. This was all in The Killing Joke. If you've seen the animated movie, or if you've read the comic The Killing Joke. Either way, the idea was he was having one really, really bad day, and then the whole Ace Chemicals thing happened, where he was in the going with the Red Hood gang, fell into the vat of chemicals, and it was kind of Batman's fault in a way. Like, he's the one who kind of stepped on his cape and pushed, and he fell into the vat of acid, and that made him, the crazy Joker. And that one bad day thing is very iconic for the Joker. But it does not seem like that's going to be in this movie. This movie seems like he's got a slower descent into his insanity, and it's very it's interesting. I'll give it that. But it shows just like that I guess how he develops from a regular dude into someone who's this insane character. And I kind of have a prediction for what I think this is going to be. And it kind of relates back to, it kind of reminds me of something that Gotham did. And so if you haven't seen season 4 of Gotham, this is a spoiler for it, so you can skip ahead a little bit to see if I'm past this. And I'll try to be fast about it. But basically in Gotham, the whole time we think that this one guy, Jerome, is the Joker. He acts as the Joker. He wears the paint, all the stuff. He cuts his face. He does all the stuff that the Joker would do. But in the end, he's not the Joker because he dies, and instead of the Joker's more of like a legacy. So he makes a laughing gas with Scarecrow, and his brother opens a gift that he gives from him, and the gas sprays in his face, and it makes his brother the Joker, his twin brother. So it's like he was not the original Joker. And the reason I think that this movie might be pulling from this is because one thing that's been very important to Joker is that he doesn't really have an identity. And there's a comic where Batman goes in this thing and he gets like one request to ask, and he asks who the Joker is, and it says that there's multiple Jokers, which was like that was a pretty interesting storyline too. But the thing is that no one really knows who the Joker's like former identity was. He's just the Joker at this point. And so this in the trailers they've already given him a name, Aaron. He's got a name. He's got a whole story, a whole like character development. But and I get that this might like this. So my prediction is that he's not actually the Joker. That he might be leading up to the Joker, or be the reason the Joker, or helps the Joker actually become the Joker, or is the inspiration, or I don't know what exactly is going to happen. But I do not think that he is the actual Joker, and this is for a few reasons other than what I just said. So we already have Jared Leto Joker. And if this is a prequel, his origin story, you would think that they would get someone a little bit younger to play the Joker instead of someone who's old, or who I'm not sure if he is old, but he looks a lot older. Joaquin Phoenix looks a lot older than Jared Leto does. So why would they get someone to play Joker who is older than Jared Leto? That just doesn't really make sense to me. And they also are playing on a whole different version of the Joker. Now, this movie could not be connected in any way to any of the DC movies, like the previous DC EU movies, and that could fix a lot of that. But if this is connected to the DC universe, which I would assume it would be, considering that we're in an age where all these superhero movies are connected. We used to have movies where they weren't, like the X-Men movies weren't connected to the original Spider-Man movies. But that's not really the case anymore. If you want a successful movie, it's usually in a franchise. That's what Marvel's been doing, and even DC has been trying to do. So why would they make a movie, a standalone Joker movie, without it building off and going anywhere? Unless they're just, well, they might reboot the DC EU, but I do not think that's where this is going. So it's just weird to me that they're making this Joker movie if it's separate, because there's just nothing to build on. And you would think that after a Joker movie, like, Batman would have to relate to it, but I just don't see that going anywhere, and I don't see that being the prequel to Jared Leto's Joker, because not only is he older, but he's also a whole different type of Joker than Jared Leto is. Jared Leto is more of like a gang leader kind of, and this guy just does not. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker does not seem that way. Now, one thing I have to say about now that we have all that out of the way, the Joker, the trailer looks like more of an Oscar type movie, the type of like psychological movie that you would get from an Oscar, like I wouldn't say an Oscar bait movie, but a movie that you would see in an Oscar winning thing. Not really like a superhero type film or a super villain type film, because even though it's supervillain, I still would put it in that category. And like Venom was a superhero film, but it's really about Venom he's a villain. So, but it's just it seems very, very different, which is not a bad thing, per se. I think for one, it has a super low budget, which I don't think is a necessarily bad thing. I think that could work in its favor, which I know sounds weird, but I do. And secondly, is just that I don't know. I don't really know how to word this, but okay. So let me put it this way: this is a movie that really doesn't have much to do with the superhero agenda. What I was gonna say earlier is the Joker it's the right character to make something different about. He should not be in the same type of formulated superhero movie as all these other superheroes and villains. He's a very different type of character, and he shouldn't really have a moral compass, as the way in the Venom movie. Venom's a villain or whatever, but they gave him more of like a moral compass, and he's trying to do good. Joker should not be that way. And I'm glad that they aren't really trying to go that route with him. It looks like there was something bad that happened, and he just went down the rabbit hole, and now he is the Joker. Which, this is showing more of an overtime thing. Comics show more of like a one bad day thing. But I don't. It's just the low budget and everything combines to make it a very risky film, and a very odd choice in films compared to like other things that they could be doing. So I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I'm skeptical. I don't have high hopes or low expectations for this movie. It's just this movie looks very different than what I'm used to, and I guess we'll just have to see where that goes, because there's a lot of opportunity with this film, but there's a lot of, I don't really think there's going to be much superhero stuff going on in this. So if you're going to this film looking for something superhero, I don't think it's going to be there. Like, I don't think there's going to be much like, Easter eggs, stuff like that. I think it's going to be mostly a disconnected movie. I think it's just going to be a movie with the DC stamp on it. I don't really think it's going to have any of the same feelings or vibe as a superhero film. And I've said that as clearly like I can say. And so I would not go in looking for that. And secondly, the thing that I think could work in its favor is that it's going to draw a crowd of people that are not superhero fans, because it's not that kind of superhero movie. And it's going to draw a whole new group of fans, and maybe, just maybe, draw a new group to the movies that are superhero centric. The more superhero films that they're going to want to see more. So we'll see where this goes, and I'll keep you posted on if there's any. I know it's the final trailer, so there won't be any more to talk about really until the movie comes out. But when the movie comes out, I'm going to see it, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. But until then, I'll see you next time.